Welcome to the Let's Talk with Paula show, where we talk about many things, and we have many people that come onto our show that have talent, write books, and they sing, they dance, they do everything. And we talk about hot topics to make sure that we bring you good information, okay? Tonight, it's just been placed on my heart that I ask you to make sure that you get out and vote. I cannot tell you who to vote for because we're on a public access channel. All I can say to you is I can ask you to get out and vote, okay? And make sure that your heart is in it when you vote, and make sure that you do your homework. I can't tell you who to vote for. I can't tell you who not to vote for. But I can tell you to vote. So I'm asking you, and I've always said for you to get out and vote. I'm also asking you to make sure that you're registered to vote beforehand, so that when election time comes and you go out there and you go to the polls, that they say, oh, I don't have you on my sheet, because you haven't voted in any elections, in a long time, which you should be voting in every election if it's got something to do with your city or town or state. But in case you have not, so call the board of elections and make sure that you're able to vote. You do not want to wait until the last day and go in there and you find out that you're not able to vote. Please do not do that. So I'm begging you, please, from the Let's Talk with Paula show, that you make sure that you're a registered voter, okay? If you haven't gotten anything in the mail that, weeks ago that said to you that, that you okay to vote, or you need to re-register, then I think that you need to check on that. That office is open. You can Google and see what the hours of the elections department is open, and see if you want to. You could go into that office. Actually, one year the last big election that we had for president, I actually worked, and they had volunteers, okay? So it might be too late, but you can check to be able to volunteer, and that way you can sit in that room, because I felt real good about sitting in that room and being able to count those votes to say that Prince George's County's votes were correct. Even the ones that came from the people that were, out of the country or across this, in the military, that we made sure that every vote was counted. And I could stand up and say that the Prince George's County electoral office made sure that we came in there and we did what we're supposed to. And, I could say wholeheartedly that election was not rigged. In Prince George's County, I can tell you that we did the right thing and we counted every vote. I don't know whether it's too late for you to volunteer for the presidential election, but you can always call the election board and ask them if you could come and volunteer to count votes, okay? They're open Monday through Friday. I don't know what the hours are, so you're gonna have to Google it or look it up. I also want to say to you that you need to make sure that you vote with your heart, your mind, and your spirit. The scriptures tell us that we have weakness in high places. That's in Ephesians, the 6th chapter. And it tells us that we need to put on the whole armor of God to protect ourselves against the wiles of the adversary. And so I'm saying to you, go back and read Ephesians 6th chapter and put on the whole armor that God tells us that we need to put on to protect ourselves. And I'm asking you that you protection for everybody that's running for Congress, or a Senate seat, or a governor's seat, a mayor's seat, or president, vice president. I'm asking that the killing and the attempted killings have to stop. That is not what our country is about. Everybody has their own opinion, and they have a right to make their own votes. So we should not be out here trying to kill anybody. The killings have to stop. The 4-year-old, the 4th grader, that was out here and took a gun to, his school. We're talking about the police officer that accidentally, had an incident yesterday. It was an accident, that a bullet accident went to another car that was passing, but nobody was injured, and they're still investigating it, but I'm glad that nobody was injured. So I'm saying that nobody anywhere should be trying to harm or hurt anyone. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what, service that you serve in. We should be careful, with these firearms out here. And parents that have firearms in your house, please do not lock up your firearm where your child can see where you're going and where you put the key, because you haven't done anything. Because they're smart. These children are smart these days. So they know that if they see you take your gun, put it in a box, lock it up, and then they see you go across the room and stick it in a drawer, do you think they're not smart enough to know how to get the key to go in and get the gun? So I'm asking you, if you have a firearm in your house, even if it's a shotgun, I'm asking you to make sure that it's not loaded. And make sure that your child does not have accessibility to any firearms in these houses. This is not the country that we came to live in as a democracy, to just be going out killing and shooting people. And I thought that they had kind of put a stop to some of these games and some of the music that's out here that talks about killing and shooting people. I thought they had at one point, but people that still have those old games, they still playing them because they can't, they didn't say that they had to throw them in the trash. But trying to take another person's life, the scripture tells us thou shalt not kill. For those of you that are biblical, that's a commandment. It's thou shalt not kill. So I don't care how much you don't like a person, you don't try to kill them, okay? It's a lot of anxiety that's out here. It's a lot of people that are depressed. And for us to still being harmful to each other with domestic violence that I've seen on the news is on the rise again. We don't need to be beating up on each other verbally or physically. Domestic violence is something that a person, even if they leave that person, it's like having PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and it stays with you. And so you don't know that sometimes maybe Mary Lou or Dan, the voices get raised in the house, because men can be abused too. Now let me say that. Women are not the only people that get abused. Men get abused as well. And so we need to take that into account too. Both sexes have been abused. And in spousal abuse, boyfriend, girlfriend, you have abuse that goes on there. So this domestic violence that's going on, it needs to stop. The case about the person that they still haven't found the body, sometimes I think that these movies and these TV shows tell too much, okay? Because they got one of them that says that I buried something, I can't think of what the name of because I don't watch it. But you see in the movies, sometimes you see the characters that say, well, if you don't have no body, you don't have no case. Oh, please stop. Stop telling people what they can use is their defense and what they need to do so that you can't find somebody. That should not be a law. If you got enough evidence there that says that this person did it, you're innocent until proven guilty in this country. Absolutely. That's the rule. But we need to stop the domestic violence, guys. We need to stop the shooting and the killing that's going on out here. And we daggone don't need to be shooting at our public officials, okay? I don't care who they are. Everybody has a right. That's our democracy. It says freedom of speech. But it's up to us to make sure that the information that we are receiving is true. That's the difference. We need to make sure that it's true. We need to make sure that what we're seeing and what we're hearing, AI is running rapid in this country. They make up so much stuff that you can't even tell now that whether a commercial that you're looking at is true or whether it's something that you see that you get, like on your phone, if it's true or not, because of AI. And they made it so realistic that you really can't tell unless somebody tells you I didn't do that. That's not the commercial I wrote. It was about a year ago. iPhone and some other, let me take that back. It's not just them, but it's some other companies out here without phones now. So let me take that back. Scratch. I don't have no stock in iPhone, okay? So let me just say this, that they make it so that the phones, that you can do all kinds of things, you know, put people in pictures with you where you never been anywhere with that person in your life, okay? They make it so that these commercials that on Stephen Colbert's show, where a man was supposed to be out there doing votes for somebody, but if you looked at the picture close enough, you saw where the man had 3 arms, okay? So you knew it was fake news, okay? So you have to be careful and pay attention and look very well at what it is that we see or receive on our phones. And we need to make sure that it's the truth. We need to make sure that when we look up something that is actually factual, okay? Anything that's public knowledge is free, and you can look it up. You can look up about each senator, each congressperson, each mayor, you know, governor, presidents, vice presidents. You can look up anything on public access, okay? And find out what's true and what's not true, okay? And I'm saying do that. Look it up. Stop listening to what everybody else is saying, include me, because I try to be as biased as I possibly can without trying to swing a vote to somebody, okay? Because I know that I cannot do that. So that's why I tell you to look it up. You find out for yourself. You go back and look at the news, or you go back and make sure that the news that you're watching is not just one-sided, that it's telling both sides of what is the story, okay? Because I find that sometimes that one channel is telling mostly about one thing, and then another channel is very, you know, is very equal in the information that is given to you, so it's not one-sided. So make sure that the television station that you're watching at night is equal. Give equal time to everybody, okay? And the information that you get that is correct. I just don't know. My heart is so heavy because we're so close to this election, and we're not in a far enough spread for you to be able to say who's who at this point. The last poll that I looked at, you do have somebody that's a kid, but you know, the spread can change because those are from different colleges or different places that are doing the voting, that they put out there what their projection may be. It's a projection, it's not a fact. Just remember, these are projections on what they assume might be happening for each state. Do not count it as law, okay? Because you might think, oh, well, this is, because some people, they vote on election night because they want to see who's ahead, and that's what they want to be with the people that are ahead, okay? That's what they're trying to stop from happening in some of these swing states, so that you do not know what the count is. You don't know. So, you know, you need to do your research now, because if you live in one of those places, you're not going to be able to just wait until the last minute and just vote on whoever it is that's in the lead. You need to find out who is running your country and who is going to keep democracy alive in this country and make it real, okay? That's what's important. And if you don't know what democracy is, look up the word and see what democracy is for this country and the United States and what we stand for and the premise. You know, we've had people come to our country because we're supposed to be a country of freedom, freedom of rights, you know, justice, you know. And somewhere, someplace, it's gotten misplaced. I'm not a gun advocate. I don't have a gun. At one time in my life I did. I'm not gonna lie, one time I did, and I needed to protect myself, and I really did. But as soon as that threat was gone, I gave them all away, okay? Because somebody had given me some as well, just so that I could protect myself. And after the threat went, so did the guns, you know. Mine was registered. Okay, and so you should not have a gun in your house if it's not registered properly, and you're not securing it properly, and you're not making it so that your kids can see where it is that you lock them up, okay? That's so important because there's too many children that are committing crimes that are going to high school, you know, junior high school, and not even an elementary school. So we need to take that gun situation and get a grip on and who's going to be charged. Because the last one that I heard, but one of these youngsters, that the parents were concerned, the school did call, the young person did shoot, and that they're thinking about charging the parents with the crime. So I'm telling you, we need to do something to make it so that we just don't have these young people out here just shooting and killing anybody, okay? That's not something that just started, it's just gotten worse. When I hear about an elementary school kid have a gun and going to take it to school to shoot somebody, now that is heartbreaking, and it should be breaking your heart as well. So it's a lot of things that we need to look at that are good for democracy, and then some things that are not good for democracy. So we need to look at that, okay? I think that it's okay for people to own guns. If that's what they want to do, and they're gonna properly store them and put them away, and nobody else has accessibility to them except for themselves or the other person, I think that every person that has a gun should be able to go out and get certified, and they need to go to the gun range and practice and learn how to take a class and learn how to shoot an arm. They need to, they're gonna carry it, they must have a carry permit on them at all times if they have that gun with them. I think that there's certain laws that we have in place, but we just need to make sure that we enforce them. So I'm saying that if you have a gun, just go out there and go to a shooting range, take a class, learn how to shoot it, how to put it up, put it away properly, okay? And how to secure it. If you have to carry it because of your job, because some people have to have a carry card with them, a gun and carry card with them because they own a business and they have large sums of money that they have to take to the bank at night. That's understandable. So just make sure that you, in your car, that you have it locked up and it's secure like it's supposed to be. And if you don't know what those rules are, then you need to look them up. And you need to take a class before you just go out here and buy a gun, you know. And you need to make sure that you have all the credentials and everything that you need so that you can have a gun and it's legitimate to carry. And it's safely put away the way that you've been taught that it should be. The attempted killings of any elected official needs to stop. That is not the American way. We're not in a war-torn country where we need to be out here trying to shoot elected officials. I don't care who they are. All of them need protection. We need to protect them all. And we need to make sure that, you know, we ourselves make sure that our home is safe. If we have if there is a firearm in your house, make sure that it's secured and it's safe. If you have one in your car, because people's cars get stolen all the time, and if your gun is in your car and it's not secured and safe where it's supposed to be, when your car got stolen, your gun got stolen as well. Okay, think about that. That's one of them questions. Okay, because I bet you hadn't thought about that. Oh, my gun is in my car. My car got stolen. Wow. Was it locked up safe? So that's something that you need to think about as well. I need you to look at the dockets that they're voting on in your district, wherever it is that you live, and look and see whether or not it's going to serve democracy or it's not. We need to keep democracy alive. I would never have thought in my lifetime that I would have seen this country change as drastically and as rapidly as it has. And it's not necessary, because we have more people that are educated now than we've ever had before. College graduates, PhDs, MBAs, you know, we have more people that are educated no matter what color denomination you come from. Common sense is what I'm talking about. Just plain old ordinary common sense, ruling with your head, your mind, your heart, your soul, and the ability to understand. And if you don't understand, ask somebody that's in authority that can tell you. You know, our police officers, our fire people, our ambulance people, our veterans, the ones that are in war still, we need to take our hat off to them because they are in a job that is for protect and serve. And so we should not be intimidating them to the point where they feel threatened. So I'm saying that needs to stop because they out there risking their lives for you every day. Every police officer that takes that oath is out here to protect and serve. Every fireman that's out there is protect and serve. Every person that works on an ambulance is to protect and serve. Every person that works in a hospital is to protect and serve you so that you get well. So we need to take that into account. The people that let's say, pick up your trash on a hot day, 100-degree weather. You should have been outside asking, I did. You should have been outside asking them, did they want some water or did they have water? Because they're civil servants. They're out there serving you in hot weather, So take that into account the next time that the weather is hot and it's outside and your person in your neighborhood is collecting your trash and you come up, just go outside and ask them. Even if you're riding down the street, ask them. If you have some extra water in your car that has not been opened, ask them, do you need some water, because they're out here, doing a public service for you. And we need to start thinking about those people that are out here doing a public service. We need to also make sure that the senior citizens are being taken care of. Our senior citizens, once you get your single citizen check, if you got mortgages and you got to pay bills for health insurance is going up, medicine's going up, we need to make sure that we're making sure that Congress is doing the right thing so that the senior citizens are taken care of. They're able to eat. We have poverty in this country. We try to get food for other countries, but we need to take a look at our own country and see how much poverty is going on in our communities and with our senior citizens and with people that are injured and disabled, okay? We need to take into account those people as well because, it's no joke going to bed not knowing that you don't have no food to eat. It's terrible to have to make a decision, not me personally, but I would have to make a decision on whether or not I'm going to lose my home or eat food and put it on my table. Am I going to make sure that my children are safe when they go to school? It's a shame that, your senior citizens, once they pay their mortgage, they can't pay for anything else. With the health insurance rising. So we need to take a look at those things. The prescriptions are rising. Instead of coming down for your prescriptions, we need to look at the prescriptions and why are we paying so much more for certain prescriptions and over across the seas they're getting it at a cheaper rate. I just saw that on the news, okay? That they get the same prescription, but it's a cheaper rate than what we get. That's a disgrace. Because we, the American people, are paying for those pharmaceutical companies that have businesses in our country, okay? All of them don't. Some of them do have businesses in other countries, and we, have them imported in. But the ones that are here, we need to make sure that the prices are made substantial enough that people are able to afford the medicine that they need to stay alive. When I hear about a person that has to pay, that's a senior citizen, that has to pay $1,000 a month for a 30-day prescription, it's a disgrace. If they have to pay $500 a month, $300 a month, it's a disgrace because their check is not that much, okay? And so the disabled, okay, if they're not able to work and they get a disability check, they're in the same boat. So we need to make sure that the people that we put in these seats and we vote for, look and see what they've done for you lately. Read up on them and see what they're doing so far as the pharmaceutical companies are concerned, what they're doing so far as the guns are concerned, what they're doing so far as to eat food, to be able to eat. Because a dozen of eggs, I remember when I was a kid, I'm going to say how old I am. Well, anyway, I remember that it was under $1. I don't even buy eggs anymore. They tell me that eggs cost almost $5 a carton, okay? I don't know because I don't buy them, but that's what I heard, okay? But I remember when it was like 50 cents. I think you could buy a carton of eggs. Come on now, Our country is supposed to be about democracy for everybody, everyone. Is supposed to be able to have a freedom in this country. And is supposed to be able to eat, take care of their families, own a home, get an education. And we need to make sure that we are, as American people, when we go out and vote, that we make sure that those rights are still the rights that we've grown up on, the freedom that we expect to have, the people that are supposed to protect and serve are being treated right, the people that are veterans in this country are being treated fairly, the ones that are still at war, that are still trying to protect the rights of this country. Are we looking out for them and their families when they go across the borders to make sure that somebody else's country is safe? Are we doing the same thing here in these United States of America? I believe that we are, but I believe that we can do better. And that's all I'm asking you to do, is to vote for this election. Don't wait till the last minute. Make sure that you are a registered voter, and please make sure that if you go to vote, take a couple of people with you. You know, take your neighbor, take that senior citizen if they don't drive, or a person that you know that's disabled. Take them to the voting booth so that they can vote, okay? Because everybody doesn't have a way to get to vote. So make sure that the people that are in your surroundings, in your family, are able to go out there and vote. And look up the facts for yourself, and stop listening to the propaganda, and educate yourself and find out what's true and what's not true. That's all I can ask you to do, is to do those things. And if we do those things with our mind in the right place, our heart in the right place, then we will do what's right for America. And that's all I can say to you, and hope that you've heard something that I've said that made sense to you, that you will now take it upon yourselves to make sure that you vote in the right direction, and make sure that those guns are put up so that little children are not able to just get their hands on, or teenagers to get their hands on. Make sure that they're locked up safely and properly. Make sure you have the right credentials to carry that gun, or have that gun in your household as well. And make sure that they are. So besides voting, gun laws, rules, I say, may God bless America, and may you be safe, and I be safe, and we look out for one another with love and affection. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while that you love, pick up the telephone. Say, I love you. You don't even have to say that. Google them. Use an emoji. I've said this before. They got emojis. They got emojis for everything. Just send one to say, I love you. And when I send you a hand, and it looks like this, it's saying thank you, it's saying amen, and it's saying I'm praying for you. Amen. And I say good night from Let's Talk with Paula, and may you be blessed, you be safe, and please make sure you're registered to vote, and then go and vote.